When I built my first startup, I thought working harder was the best way to grow it. Long nights, early mornings, just grind. But here is the truth, working harder can even kill your startup. After coaching over 50 startups and building 2 startups myself, I have seen it destroy many founders. And if I hadn't realized it, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Almost every founder makes this mistake, and you might be making it too. So give me a few minutes and I will show you exactly why working harder can kill your startup, how to tell if you are making this mistake right now, and what to do instead to actually grow your startup. But before I show you that, I want to give you a quick look at how I used to work in my first startup and why I almost lost everything. So here is how I used to work. I was up at 4 a.m. Coffee, laptop open before the sun came up. I checked my inbox, 200 new mails. Then straight into product tweaks, outreach, creating content, improving my landing page, everything. I went to bed at 11 p.m. most nights for 3 months straight. No weekends, no breaks, just grind. And I thought I was doing everything right, because that's what they told you, right? Work harder, hustle more, push through. But here is the crazy part. After all that work, there was almost no growth and I was stuck. I mean, I had a product, I had content, and I was working harder than ever. But nothing was moving. Revenue was flat and I was exhausted. I was frustrated. So then I decided to talk to other founders who were growing way faster than me with big teams, millions in revenue, and I wanted to know what they did differently. And that's when I realized something that changed everything. They weren't working harder. They weren't doing more. They were doing less, but the right things. That was the moment I learned one of the most important lessons in building a startup. Your startup won't grow because you work more hours. It will only grow when you focus your time on things that actually move the needle. I mean, let's be honest, it's easy to fill your day with work. Emails, calls, product tweaks, outreach. You feel productive, you feel in control, but just like me, that doesn't mean you're making progress. And that's the trap, the work harder trap. So how do you fix it? How do you solve it? How do you make sure your work hours actually have an impact? Let me show you a simple framework that does exactly that. This is one of the most powerful frameworks to grow your startup, and now I teach it to every founder. But hey, before I show you this powerful framework, I have created a free roadmap that shows you how to build your startup the right way. You will learn exactly what your next steps should be, so you never get lost. Just click the first link in the description below and download your free roadmap right now. Now let me show you this powerful framework. Okay, the framework to really grow your startup is called the 3-to-1 framework. And it's so simple, you can use it right now. Step 1, you define your main goal. But I'm not talking about some vague dream like grow the startup or get traction. I'm talking about a real measurable goal. For example, get 200 new users this month. Something you can look at and say yes or no. We've done it. We reached our goal. And once you have your goal, you ask yourself one question. If I could do only 3 things this week to hit that goal, what would they be? Write them down. And then you narrow it down. If I could do only 2 things this week, what would they be? And finally, if I could do only 1 thing this week, what would it be? That one thing, that's your priority. Focus on that and your startup will grow. Everything else is just noise. And here is the great thing. Here is what happens when you actually apply this. You stop reacting to every ping, to every shiny growth hack. And instead, you start making decisions like a real founder. You focus on what's really important. Let me quickly show you how I used this framework to grow my startup. Now, when I wanted to get my first 100 customers, I could have spent all week redesigning my landing page or writing 10 blog posts, sure. But the one thing that was actually really important was reaching out to 200 people who might actually buy and just booking calls. That's not flashy, but it brought me closer to my goal. The 3-to-1 framework forces you to think like that. It keeps you focused on the outcomes, not just staying busy. And once you start applying this, you will realize something powerful. You don't need to work harder. You don't need to put in more hours. You just need to focus on what's really important. So here is the truth nobody tells you. Hard work is great. Commitment is great. But your energy is limited. And if you don't use it on the right things, you will burn out before your breakthrough. And when that happens, your dream of building a successful startup is done. So the founders who scale the fastest aren't the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who know exactly what matters most. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Working harder alone doesn't grow your startup. You need focus. So use this framework and focus on the one thing that really grows your startup. But here is the thing. Most founders have absolutely no idea what they should focus on. Improving their product, getting customers, or scaling their startup. It's not obvious. So check out this video where I will show you a proven roadmap so you know exactly what you need to focus on to grow your startup. But before you go, make sure you hit subscribe for more pro tips and powerful frameworks on how to build a successful startup. Talk soon. Bye bye.